the next one, like kind of linking into the last one, is that
Yeah, it follows on.
yeah, the whole thing of carbs are bad, and I think that obviously links in with the keto diet as well.
Yeah.
And similar to what I said with 1 gram of carb holding roughly like 3 to 4 grams of water, the reason why people that go on the keto diet, so if you don't know what the keto diet is, it's you basically take all carbs out and you start your body running on fats and proteins, which mental, but that's what it is. So obviously when you cut out those carbs, your main scale loss is water, because you're cutting out, say if you had 100 grams of carbs, that's going to then hold 400 grams of water. So if you're cutting that out, within a couple of days, you're going to be 500 pounds lighter. 500 pounds, 500 grams, roughly, like, as a maths, like simple maths.
Yeah.
That's why your scale weight drops off a cliff very quickly, and then it basically plateaus again.
Yeah, I think that's why people do it, because they see those results so quickly. They're just like, oh my God, this diet's amazing. And you're like, it's all of your water just going. Yeah. But then because of that reason as well, you then start feeling extremely fatigued. You get things like brain fog, low energy, all sorts of hosts of different side effects that come with that diet, which is why I hope no PTs would recommend that diet. I know there's probably a fair few that do, but it's not something I would ever recommend to any of my clients, especially just in terms of kind of like functioning on a day-to-day basis. Never mind any of their like fat loss goals or anything like that, just being able to function on a day-to-day basis. And even like to be able to turn up to work and stuff like that, because you end up with such brain fog and you're so tired and exhausted. It's just, I don't understand how people can do it. It's maddening to me, because as well, like, obviously carbs is the fastest way to turn into glucose to use for energy. It's your body's preferred source of fuel, and it's also the only source of fuel your brain can run off, which is why you end up with brain fog, because your brain cannot run on fats and proteins. It can only run on glucose, and if you cut that out, you're starving your brain of food essentially on what it runs on. And I'm like, why would you do that? It sounds awful. And then they're like, why am I tired? Why do I feel like shit? Why can't I remember stuff? Like, why, like, they forget conversations that they've had, and it's like, because your brain has no food and it's trying to find some.
Yeah, there's also the keto flu that people tend to get about a couple of weeks to a month in. You end up like really ill, basically, again, because you're saying like you are just depleting your whole body of carbs and sugars that your body prefers to run on. So it's something, I guess. Say if you're in like combat sports where you need to make weight, if you're struggling to make that weight in the last weeks or something, probably a very good option to use to just basically deplete yourself of water. Because I've had friends that do MMA and they end up just sitting in saunas for like hours on end in trackies, sat in salt baths to drain all the water. So I can kind of understand where it might help in that sort of world. I'm not saying that's healthy by any means whatsoever.
No, it's not, no.
Yeah, I used to just tell them, I'm like, why don't you just hang around the sort of weight that you fight at, maybe a little bit higher, then you only have to cut a couple of pounds.
Yeah, and it's easy,
Yeah, but apparently that's not the way to do it. But
I mean, I think it would, the only time I would ever be like, yes, do the keto, if it's like recommended by a doctor or like a nutritionist or someone that actually knows what they're doing. But I think doctors only really recommend it for like epilepsy, and I think even then it's very extreme circumstances, and so they will still go through several assessments and stuff before they even recommend that as a diet option for somebody with epilepsy.
Yeah, I think Jordan Peterson and Michaela Peterson both went on like a carnivore diet for a while. They both had like an autoimmune disorder. I'm not too sure exactly what it was. I've seen little clips on Instagram and stuff, and they reckon that since they've been on that carnivore diet, the issues that they were having have pretty much disappeared. So I guess there are some uses. Thank you very much for watching this clip of the podcast. If you'd like to see the full episode, click here. If you're new, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed it, please drop it a like below. Thank you very much.